I'm watching every single Planet of the Apes movie, and today we talk about... I'll be honest, this is the least interesting of the original 5 to me. They do really weird shit with like race and class, and it's like extremely dated, and it just kind of takes me out of the movie personally. But Monkey Jailhouse rock! Oh, also I'm sick, so don't make fun of how quiet I am, alright? I'm gonna put the comment on the screen that made fun of how quiet I was. Conquest for the Planet of the Apes starts with a time jump. We are now in 1991. And I bet now you're thinking, oh my god, 1991, that's the year that Ricochet came out with Denzel Washington and John Lithgow in a heated thriller that's a little too gory. I just watched that movie, I wanted to talk about it. Zira and Cornelius' child, Caesar, or the artist formerly known as Milo, is now a bit grown up. He lives with Armando, who is the circus man from the last movie that he was left with after his parents were brutally murdered on an oil rig. And near instantly we are shown apes being used as slaves in the human world. Oh, also, I forgot to mention in the last video, but part of Zira and Cornelius' prophecy was that there would be a dog and cat plague that would wipe out all dogs and cats on the planet, which would leave humans resorting to apes as
main pet.
And eventually servants. This has happened. We see scenes of apes being personal shoppers for humans as they go through like a little strip mall, and obviously Caesar does not like it. It is really interesting that they fulfill Zira's prophecy like just a movie later, and it makes you call back like, oh, they did mention that, and it's happening much faster than you would think it would happen, which might be because of the time jump and onsetting the cyclical nature of the entire franchise. It's kind of cool. Like, this movie is very similar to Rise of the Planet of the Apes, where you start with one intelligent ape and eventually he leads others to his cause, which will snowball into an entire society of apes. Dude, stop spoiling the movie. We'll get there. So after Caesar witnesses an ape being beat up by a police officer, he speaks up and yells from a crowd of people to stop. Obviously, in this timeline, in this time period, apes do not speak. So Armando has to take the fall for speaking out for an ape, and he is taken away and taken to jail. When he is taken away, Caesar resorts to hiding and waiting for Armando to come back. Armando is then questioned by the governor, who, the governor is sort of like the big bad of this entire movie. He's got like a weird, like, fascist empire where it's built on the backs of the apes, and he is like looking for absolute power. So Armando is questioned by the governor. The governor starts to have a suspicion that Armando's ape, Caesar, is actually the child of Zira and Cornelius. So Armando is kept in custody. Caesar realizes Armando may not be coming back and he might be in more trouble than he thought. So Caesar decides to hop in a shipment crate that is driving by at the time where he is hiding. We then pan out to see that the shipment is actually foreign apes from a different country. He's taken to a facility with other apes and starts to show his intelligence by organizing things and by sharing a banana with the rest of them in parts, which shows that he understands sharing. And this is where we start to see Zira's prophecy coming true. Caesar is now teaching the other apes to be intelligent. They're starting to get to the point of that dog you see on TikTok where it like pushes the buttons to speak and respond to its owner, which I don't know if anybody else, it really freaks me out. That guy's a freak. So I put this in the script, but I watched these so long ago that I do not remember how important it actually is, but I'll just read my note off for you guys here. Quotations: Caesar is chosen to inseminate a female chimpanzee at the facility. There you go, I said it. It feels gross. I feel gross, you feel gross. I don't even remember if it matters. There you go. There it is. We also find out that this facility is being used as a sort of auction house for apes, and for humans to buy apes to do their work for them. Now here's where I'm gonna sidebar for a second here. This movie is extremely dated and a bit racist. I do not think I am intelligent enough to dissect and talk about it, so I'm going to skim a bit over it, but know that there's a reason I don't like this movie very much. It feels very uncomfortable to watch, and there's a few instances that are really just like odd and make your skin crawl and ugh. Whatever. I'm telling you, the metaphor for this movie is really weird. I just kind of want to gloss over it. I don't want to dissect it. Caesar is taken to the governor's office and is shown a book. The governor asked him to pick a word from that book to be his name. He chooses Caesar. This alerts people that he has the chance to be the ape from Zira's prophecy, and the one she told them about from the future that will bring about the ape society.
I love Fridays, and I love you. Subscribe.
Hang on. Does that mean that Zira and Cornelius are technically descendants of their own son? And ew! Back to Armando, he is forced to sign a document to show that he isn't lying, but then they bring out this thing called an authenticator, which makes you tell the truth. And he's like, authenticate these fucking nuts, and just jumps out the window. Just gone, protecting Caesar's identity. I really love stupid tech in movies like The Authenticator. Like, anytime something like that pops up, it just gets me really excited because it's like stupid sci-fi and I really enjoy it. Back in the facility, Caesar is forming a sort of militia, and the other apes are starting to pick up on the intelligence that he's trying to unlock in all of them. He starts to have them shirk their responsibilities around the facility and cause riots whenever is necessary. Caesar's taken to the governor's office again. Stay with me here. This is gonna be really odd, but this is a main plot point, and it's one of the weird moments. Okay, he makes a sympathetic ploy to the governor's right-hand man, McDonald, about racial injustice and how he should understand what he's going through. It's weird. And I wouldn't be covering it if it didn't play a part in the movie, so whatever. He tells McDonald's that he's starting a revolution, and that he should understand and back their cause. Oh yeah, by the way, other humans don't know he can speak other than McDonald now. Caesar is captured and tortured and put on this bench that is like really dour. It's like quite frightening looking. He finally speaks to other humans and begs for pity while laying on the table about to die. McDonald then cuts the power and allows Caesar to escape. Caesar kills a man with a judo chop, which is insane. He links up with his little militia and then they storm the capital, the ape management facility, and free a bunch of the captive apes and recruit them to their cause. The news catches wind of apes escaping the facility and organizing, and the truth of talking apes has been broadcast to the entire world. Apes march on the Capitol building. Fuck, who put that in the script? That's so weird. They march on the city and the monkey net makes a big return here. A huge return. Swallowing up anything in its path, baby. The apes start taking guns from the police and wreaking havoc throughout the city. I actually think the end of this movie is quite well done, like action-wise. Like it looks really good. A lot of the colors and the lights are really bright. You see a lot of the apes moving in silhouette, and that might have been like a budgetary restriction at the time because as these movies go on, the budgets get lower, even though they're still doing well. Budgets are getting lower, so the ape makeup doesn't look as good as it did, say, the first movie or the second movie. So hiding them in shadows is really kind of cool, and it gives a sort of ominous vibe for when they are, attacking the entire city. Caesar leads the apes to the governor's office and has a monologue about apes taking over the human world just like it was prophesied. He's become a bit of a radical, which is kind of the point of this movie, is that he is taking it too far, becoming just like the humans. But then, as he's about to kill the governor, he realizes what he's doing and decides he will not be like the humans that tortured and killed them. He will spare him and start a new civilization. He doesn't want to prove them right about how apes are animals. McDonald then confronts Caesar, and Caesar doubles down, wanting to still rule the world. Lisa... Oh, that's why we mentioned the other thing, the insemination thing. It's kind of his girlfriend by force, I guess. They do that a lot in these movies. But as they leave the governor's chambers, they're out on the stairs and they're about to execute people. Lisa speaks up as the first other intelligent ape to speak, and she yells no to Caesar. She wants to stop the cycle of violence from continuing and start a better world for them. So yeah, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes is pretty straightforward. Outside of the weird metaphors, it's about the apes' takeover. It's about the origin of the Planet of the Apes, if you will. Apes are becoming intelligent, and they act on it. It's pretty simple. I will say, the whole idea of comparing the struggle of apes in this movie to the only black character in this movie is seriously tough to watch. And again, I'm not the person to talk about it, so I'm gonna leave it there. Overall, this movie's just kind of like okay to me, because I've seen Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which sort of does the same thing, just with like, modern technology and a better story, in my opinion. And it doesn't have racism, so... It's kind of a W there. It is really cool to see like what people think about the most when they think about Planet of the Apes is like the origin of the world and how it even began in that way where apes ruled the earth. Shows how they broke from human control and how they started their own better society. For now. Overall, it's probably my least favorite of the first 5, like by a pretty large margin. And I think the last one is a bit more engaging thematically, and we'll talk about that next time. But it brings this whole first saga to a close in a really nice way that I'm gonna unpack over there. Next time, we battle for the Planet of the Apes.
Who are these people?